I've always been a girl's girl. Even though I was not always the most perfect in my friendships, I've definitely made mistakes. I also did not do people or do females in my friendships the way they would do me. As soon as I learned the lesson that God was teaching me over and over again, my life became so much more easier and more peaceful. Hey channel, and welcome back to another video. As always, it's your girl Danae Anaya here with another video for you. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. You will love it here. And if you are returning, then you know the vibes. You know I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your continuous support. Join the community if you are new. Subscribe, like, share. All right, story time. So I'm going to talk about how I had 3 different friendships in 3 different phases of my life. And within those 3 different friendships, they all betrayed me in a similar way. I know, it's crazy. This kept happening to me over and over again, and how I had to finally see what God was trying to teach me. Friendship number 1, which started in high school. So I had this other friend that I was real cool with at the time, and she was talking to this boy. So since me and her were real cool, she said, oh, hey, he has this friend that's, hella cute. You would like him. So I saw his pictures online, met him in person. It was just like a little quick situationship that I had or whatever, but I did like him at the time. I found him very attractive. So one time this friend threw a gathering at her house, and she invited the boy that I was talking to along with, of course, her boyfriend, and they had a few friends that they invited as well. And on top of that, they invited, of course, me and a few other of my friends from high school. I had this one friend that I used to go take the train with. She was one of my first friends when I went to high school. So we would meet up a lot. We would meet up like every morning, going to high school for the most part. We would hop on a train together, and we would go to school together. That was kind of like our routine, our morning routine. We would talk, we would meet up, oh my God, I went to her house. I really found her cool. Again, she was one of my first friends in high school. Well, quote unquote friends in high school. So I really liked her. I really cared for her. I really started to care for her more and more. But I did hear, a few other girls in the school that she was a hoe. I heard this. I already heard this about her. You know what? I don't care if you're a hoe. If you my girl, you my girl. I'm not going to be like that. But I'm the kind of person who I never really like to let others' outside opinions affect how I feel about someone or how I think of someone. So even though I heard that she was a hoe, I'm like, this is still my girl. I'ma still ride for her 10 toes down. This is who I go to school with every morning. This is one of my first friends in high school. I'ma stick beside her. Okay? Period. So anyways, the friend who had this gathering at her house one night. So I told my mom about this gathering, and my mom was like, no, it's going to be too late for you to go. Because my mom, even though she was lenient, she was also strict. So I think since this friend had the gathering a little late, my mother was like, no, it's too late for you to go. And I remember that I was so upset about this. I was so upset that my mom would not allow me to go, because my intuition told me that since I was not going to be able to go, that something bad was going to happen, or that something was just going to happen. I had a gut feeling that for me not going, something was going to happen. But I'm like, maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe I'm just in my head. Maybe I'm just overthinking. The next day comes, I saw the friend who had the gathering, and I'm like, hey, how did everything go? Did you have a good time? How was everyone? How was it? She was like, oh girl, it was all cool. We was all just chilling, drinking, laughing, it was all chill. So I'm like, oh, okay, I was all in my head. I was being paranoid. Danae, you got to stop being paranoid. Not everybody's out to get you. If most of them are your friends and you talk to them, you have lunch with them, nothing happened, girl. Nothing happened. Okay, so the next day, since I didn't hear anything from that day when I asked the friend who had the gathering, did anything happen? I'm like, okay, cool. So I was chilling. Was still talking to the boy. I think I was still texting him. He was chilling. He was real laid back as usual. So I really was like, okay, Zanae, you was just being paranoid. The day after that comes and we all having lunch. So most of us was like cutting class to have lunch together. Well, if you know George Washington High School, that's the high school I went to. My high school was predominantly Spanish. So since it was 4 different schools in my school, or I think it was 3 different schools or 4. All I know, we was the 4th school. We was the last floor up. I think the 4th floor. We had the most black kids in our school, like on our floor. So for the most part, a lot of the black kids hung out together because it was kind of like, you know, it's a black kid thing. Like, we would cut school together. We would cut class together to have lunch together. So one day, a lot of us cut class to have lunch together. So anyways, we all chilling, and then I started talking about the boy. I forgot how he came up, but I started talking about him like out loud. I'm like, oh my God, like I really like him. I'm really talking so highly of him, like so highly of him. And I've noticed that it was a few uncomfortable movements, a few uncomfortable faces, a few just awkwardness. Like I noticed the awkwardness, but I'm like, maybe they just hating. Like, like I'm telling y'all, I've always been delusional. I had a friend at the time, like a best friend at the time, who pulled me to the side and told me that the night that they had the gathering, it was pretty much damn near an orgy. It was damn near an orgy that happened that night with the boy that I liked. So it was a few mistakes. Like some people didn't realize who was who when the liquor was involved and the lights were off, quote unquote. I don't really believe it, but whatever. But they said for a fact that the girl that I used to go to school with almost every morning, she had consensual, willing, non-regrettable, she know what she's doing, sex with the boy that I was talking to. Like, she knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't give a fuck. She knew exactly who he was. She knew exactly how much I liked him. And she just did not give a fuck. Like, she fucked him and I think the friend, but she definitely fucked the boy I was talking to. I don't fight over boys. Never have, never will. So I just cut her off. And she wasn't there. Like when that whole situation happened, like when they told me about what happened, she was not cutting lunch with us. I don't think she was there. I don't remember her being there. So when they told me what she did, again, I was not going to hit her regardless or just like black on her, but I think I just totally just cut her off. Like I went cold turkey on her. I think someone told her that I found out. And she didn't even try to talk to me. She didn't even try to apologize. She was on some like, I did what I did. It is what it is. Bye, bitch. Like, I do not care how you feel, what you now know. Fuck it. If you know, you know. I don't care. It was like a real, like, you was never important to me. I never gave a fuck about you. Yes, I fucked the boy that you liked. Oh well, life goes on. Like, that was literally her whole demeanor, her whole tone, her whole vibe. It was just no kind of remorse at all. Like, that girl had no remorse. So I was crushed. Like, I was so crushed. Of course, like, I wrote him like, wow, like, how was it? Like, how was it with her? And he wrote a dickhead response. I'm not even gonna... He wrote a dickhead response like, you know, oh, she's not you. Yo, like, guys are crazy. And of course, like, I never looked at him the same again. I'm not sure if I kept messing with him. I doubt it. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But I do know that was like, it just all went to hell after that. Like, I never looked at him the same again. I definitely ain't fuck with her again. So it was pretty much the end of it all. Just no one gave a fuck about my feelings. And it was so hurtful, but it was like the lesson, or like kind of like the start of the wake-up call that I needed. That was the start of a wake-up call that I needed to see how vicious and cruel and mean and just wicked females and people in general can be. That was the start to my wake-up call. Like, All right, so that was high school. Moving on to college. So I went to Monroe Community College, upstate in Rochester, New York. If you know, you know. Went to that school to get my associate's degree. Didn't finish, but I ended up eventually getting my bachelor's later on. But anyways, I went to that school. That was a good time. I had a great time at that school. I do not regret Monroe Community College at all. Sophomore year of being there, I've heard about her in my freshman year. And I heard that she had a few fights, and I heard that, you know, she was like not really liked by a few people, but, you know, I didn't really pay her no mind. And then eventually I heard that she was a hoe. I heard that she got around the campus. So I'm like, once again, I'm like, you know, like, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to do any of that. If that's my girl, that's my girl. I'm going to ride 10 toes down. So we ended up becoming friends because my sophomore year, me and her became roommates. So again, I heard of her. I'm pretty sure she heard of me. So when I saw her, when she saw me, it was like an instant connection. Like, she was from Brooklyn, I'm from Harlem. So it was kind of like a city thing. Like, oh, like we from the town. So we instantly connected, you know, we just really vibed. So it really gave like at first like a real sister kind of vibe. She was a hell of a cook. She knew how to cook. Like to this day, I'm not gonna lie, she really taught me how to make really good fried chicken. So that's one thing I could give her. My dorm in college so it was me and her, and we shared a room with two other girls. One was a RA, and we had this other roommate. She was a black girl too. She was hella cool. So our dorm was lit. Like, we had a lit dorm because my roommate was the one that I clicked with from Brooklyn. She was a lit girl. Like, she would have liquor in her room. She was someone who liked to have a good time. She would like to have people come over and like throw like gatherings. Like, she wanted to go to parties. Like, she was one of those girls. And we was cooking a lot. So it made a lot of the basketball players come to our room to get free food, of course, because a lot of the basketball players was on our floor or they was in our building. So they knew that we was like a few of the girls who would cook like on a consistent basis. So they would always come to our room. And we just had other friends like come to our room every day after school. Our dorm stayed lit, y'all. Like, after class, we would do our homework, if that, and just have a good time, drinking, talking, smoking, just having a ball. So anyways, so I had this ex-boyfriend who I knew him for a while. He was trying to get with me for a while. And he was just real big on like, oh, like, I've been trying to get with Danae since forever. And I'm in college now, because when I first met him, I was like 15. So by the time I got to college, I was like 18. So we reconnected when I was like 19, which was my sophomore year. He found me. We started like really texting, consistently communicating. And I forgot how he got in contact with my roommate from Brooklyn, but he's like, oh, they was conspiring some kind of like, they was getting some kind of plan together to have him surprise me to come see me. Mind you, Monroe Community College was like 6 hours away from New York. So him coming to see me on a bus was like, oh, damn, like, you serious? So she ended up giving away the surprise, like hating shit. She was like, oh, yeah, he's coming to come see you. Like, he's coming to surprise you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right. So I think I went back and told him, like, are you coming to see me? And he's like, yeah. After I found that out, a day or two passed, and it was time for him to take the bus, like, to come see me in my college. And he took one of his friends with him, who I know to this day, still cool with to this day. They got there, and I told them, like, all right, when y'all get here, you could definitely, you know, stay in my dorm. My dorm had 2 bathrooms and 4 bedrooms. Of course, each bedroom for each girl that was there, and 2 bathrooms, 2 girls shared each bathroom. So me and me and the girl from Brooklyn shared a bathroom, and the other 2 shared a bathroom. Well, I told him over the phone, I'm like, you're not sleeping in my room. You're sleeping in the living room. You and your friend gonna be in the living room. Like, you're not gonna be in my bed, in my room. None of that. Like, you're willingly coming here. Do not think that I'm supposed to give you play because you're willingly coming here. Like, that's crazy. So anyways, he came or whatever. He got there. And again, since my room was always lit, I think the same night that he got there or the next day, we had a gathering. We had games going on. We had like spin the bottle. We had card games. We had drinking games. We had all those kind of games going on. And so at one point of the night, I was in the living room. I was in the living room with everyone else. We was playing spin the bottle, I believe. And at one point I noticed that the boy who came to see me, he went into my roommate's room with another girl, and they closed the door. So while I'm in the living room playing spin the bottle, I'm like, okay, that's a little weird that they are in there with the door closed. But, you know, I highly doubt anything is going on while I'm in the next room. Once again, I'm thinking I'm being paranoid. But I'm like, all right, whatever. One of the girls came out first, and the boy that I was talking to stayed in the room with my roommate. So I don't know if they were still talking about me or trying to do some kind of surprise thing. Like, I don't know what was going on, but I left it alone. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. So they came out the room probably like 5 minutes after the first girl left. When they came out, they looked pretty normal. Like, their facial expressions look normal. Like, they just look normal. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm thinking nothing of it. Like, I'm still like, that was weird, but I'm like, all right. The next day comes, it's time for him to go back to Harlem with his friend. I do not remember if we took a Uber or if I got them a ride, but I do know that I went with them to the bus station for them to take a Greyhound. I think it was a Megabus, either one. And I said, bye. You know, I said, get home safe. And I said, let me know when you get back. So cool. Everything was all normal. Everything went normal that whole day. So I think the next day, I remember this day so vividly, like so vividly, because I was in the library. I forgot why I was there. I think I was just doing some kind of schoolwork or killing time before my next class. So I'm killing time and I get a call from him. And he calls me. He's like, can you talk right now? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, it's something I've been wanting to tell you. So I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, so remember when I was in your roommate's room for a little bit and then one girl left and I was still kind of in there? I'm like, yeah. He said that she started to give me head. She started to give me head and I was letting it happen, but then I stopped her because I knew it wasn't right. So, so I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, so I was just so like, what the fuck? When he told me that me and him was not together, me and him didn't do anything when he came to see me. He never slept in my room. Nothing ever happened, right? Of course, I felt like our bond got stronger from him coming to see me, but I was still like, I can't really like take you serious right now until I really see what you're more about. So when he told me that, I was very, very conflicted because a part of me was like, you came to see me. Why the fuck would you allow my dirty ass, hoe ass roommate to give you head when you came to see me? When you're trying to get with me, when you're trying to make me your girl, why would you let her do that? Then the other part of me was like, well, that's not your man. You didn't do anything with him while he was there. And on top of that, he did tell you, opposed to your roommate who has been smiling in your face, acting like nothing ever happened. He did tell you something though. He told you, he gave you that courtesy. It's fucked up that he even let that happen, but he gave you the courtesy. So I was very conflicted. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna just talk to you later. Like, I didn't even know what to say to him. Like, I'm gonna talk to you later. Like, but I think I was just so mad because I'm like, why the fuck you ain't tell me when you was up here? Like, or why didn't you, as soon as you came out that room, why you wasn't like, Danae, let me talk to you real quick. She, you know, this happened. I don't know. Like, but I felt like for him to tell me when he got home, like, I don't know if he needed to process it. He probably did. I don't know. Or I guess he was debating on telling me. But either way, like, it was just like, fuck, like, fuck. So anyways, of course I approached her. I came back into my room. I approached her. I'm like, yo, like, you really did that. Like, where they do that at? Like, why would you do that? So she's like, of course, copping the plea. She's like, no, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to. Like, it got way too out of hand. And so I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I think during that time of my life, I became a little bully. I was so disappointed in her because this is the same girl who I've been rocking with 10 toes down. Once again, like how I rock with the other girl in high school, 10 toes down, when people didn't like her, when people called her a hoe, when she would get disrespected, I was still riding for her. So this happened all over again now in college. I'm riding for someone who people do not like. A lot of people do not like. Who people be disrespecting, who people talk about saying that she's a hoe, who people just do not really fuck with. Sometimes her beef became my beef. Like, one time it was an incident where people came to our room to approach her about something. I was the one who almost ended up fighting at the end of it all. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was the one who almost got kicked out of school because of something that all started with her. So it was just crazy to me how you could do this to me. Someone who's been here for you, who's been riding with you, who's been defending you, who's just been there for you. You're going to betray me like that. So I was just so disappointed in her. Like, I was just doing shit like, you know, like using up her food and having people steal her shit. Like, I was, oh my God, like, it was not one of my most proudest moments and one of my most proudest times in my life. But I was so hurt because not only was this happening to me again, but it was happening by someone who I really considered a sister after a while. Like, I really considered her a sister. So we ended up beefing. Long story short, we almost fought like 2 times, but nothing ever really happened because I was really big on not getting kicked out of school. So it is what it is. So that's college. That's college. What's so sad is that I ended up getting with the boy who did what he did with my roommate. I ended up getting into a full-blown relationship with him. And of course, it was one of the most toxic relationships of my life. And one of the most dumbest decisions I've ever made. Because at the end of the day, even though he told me what she did, he allowed it to happen, which was a reflection of who he was. It was a reflection that he was going to eventually do me dirty. But I guess with me, I'm like, well, he's loyal to a sense that he told me that she tried to give him head. So, you know, I'm going to just stick beside him and get with him and let him be my man. It was one of the most dumbest decisions I ever made in my life. Like, but either way, like, I give myself grace for that because my lack of self-love definitely showed. And it was more easy to manipulate me back then. I just allowed things to happen that I would never allow to happen to me now. But it's like, as bad and as cringy as these stories are, it gives me something to tell y'all. It gives me something to be like, I know I went through this. I know I didn't make the best choices. I know I did real, like, why would you do this kind of stuff. It's like, as much as I want to like kind of like get mad at myself, I don't. Now, do I wish I would have made different choices? Of course. But it's just like, then again, what would be the lesson in that? What would I have to talk about if I don't go through these experiences? Me living these experiences is literally my way of giving back, because it's like, yo, I've been the dumb girl. I've been the low self-esteem girl. I've been the lack of self-love girl. I've been all those girls. So if you are struggling with any of these things, let me help you. My pain is power, and I love it. It's like turning like a weakness into a strength. I accept everything I went through. I accept all the dumb shit I did, or the dumb shit I accepted. I accept all of it because it makes me the woman I am today, and it gives me something to give back to women who are struggling, or anyone who is struggling with their self-worth. Now, with this situation, last one, I'm not sure if this was during college or after college. I think it was like a little bit after college, after Monroe, but I think I was still doing school back at home. So I had another friend who I knew for a while back in this program I used to go to. And I've heard about her as well. I heard that she got around the block. She got around the projects. And I'm like, that's my girl though. We're cool. Like, you know, I like her. Just me even saying this over and over again is just like, God damn, girl, like you really had a pattern. It's like I had a Captain Save a Hoe pattern. Like, I don't I don't get it. Like, and I'm not saying that I've never done anything that was like not the most respectful, or I never had moments, you know, of doing things that was not at, I would not act like I'm out here being like the highest of the high, doing the best of the best all the time, because Lord knows I made some crazy choices in my life. Like, Lord knows. But it was never to the point that I was talked about so bad, or it was never like that. Like the way that I became friends with these girls and I really heard about them and I saw how they were and I still wrote, like I was still rotting for them. Like I was not like that. This situation, it was a gathering again, another gathering. And I didn't go. Clearly, when I don't go places, things happen. So, or when I'm not around, things happen. So yeah, I didn't go. I forgot why I did not go. And I was talking to some boy. Me and this boy never had intimacy. We never did anything or what, nothing like that. But I did kind of like him because he was real like cool. I think it was his aura that made girls like him. He had a very calm, chill aura to him. Same friend who, again, I heard about, who I was cool with or whatever, she went to this gathering. Of course, I was a little paranoid once again because I've had 2 other situations where I'm not around, where if I have a friend along with a boy that I'm talking to or kind of interested in, somehow something happens. 2 days later after that gathering, or a day later, he called me and was like, she tried to talk to him. She was very flirty with him. She was all over him. And he knew that I knew her and she knew that I knew him. I forgot how. I think it was something like I told her about him and that he knew who I was. He knew who she was due to the friends that she had. So it's like everybody knew. It was nothing like, oh, we didn't know. Like, no, everybody knew who everyone was. So yeah. And I'm like, really? He said that nothing really happened though, but he had to like pull back, and he was like, yo, he gonna tell me as soon as he talked to me again. So I'm like, really? Okay. So I called her and she's like, oh no, he tried to talk to me. So I'm like, was you never gonna tell me? Because if it was me, I'm gonna call my friend immediately. Like, I'm a voice note her, I'm gonna text her, I'm gonna do something like, yo, he just tried to talk to me, sis. It's time for you to chuck the deuces. Like, I'm doing that immediately. That's just the ultimate girl code. So when she said he tried to talk to me, I'm like, well, why would you not tell me? Was you just going to let days fly without telling me? Like, so she was copping the plea. And we was never the same after that. I think after that, I cut her off. Because I was already like on some bitch. I've been through this like 2 other times with 2 other girls. I'm not even going to give you an opportunity to continuously burn me. Bye. Oh my God. That was that. Now, from all 3 of those situations, for a while, for a very, very long time, I asked myself, God, why does this keep happening to me? What am I doing so wrong that I keep meeting girls who are betraying me in a similar way? All I'm doing is getting the same girl in different bodies, the same friendships in different bodies. That's all I'm getting. I'm not even like how you get the same man in different bodies or the same girl in different bodies. You're dealing with the same ain't shit person, but they just keep coming in different forms. I kept dealing with the same ain't shit females in different forms. Like, I cannot control what they do to me. I cannot control that I am getting backstabbed. Like, it was like, what is the lesson? What am I supposed to learn from this? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? Like, it's not me. It keeps happening to me. I kept battling that for so long. And then it finally hit me. It finally hit me that I need to just stop being around low self-esteem girls. Period. I need to stop being around low self-esteem, low class, lack of self-worth. I need to stop being around females who are desperate for male attention, because all 3 of them were. They all showed me different ways of how they were very desperate for male attention, and I was still rotting for them. And I'm not doing that no more. I'm not rotting for no female who do not see her worth at all. Not doing it. I'm not riding for no female who lack overall self-respect. Not doing it no more. I'm not riding for females who are desperate for men and male attention. Not doing it no more. I'm just not doing it no more. Now, do all of us have our ways? Do all of us make mistakes? Do all of us not make the best choices? Yes, I don't make the best choices all the time. I don't do things that's full of like, oh, let me live my life with every single decision I do is based on self-respect and self-love. Sometimes I mess up. Sometimes I make dumb decisions. We all do. I finally get that God was trying to teach me that, Danae, you need to pick better friends. You need to pick friends who are in a representation of you, who is a good reflection of you and the woman that you are trying to become. I've been in so many embarrassing situations where I had men tell me I need to pick better on who I allow as a friend. I had boys who I met the same day who would see how a friend of mine would act and be like, you deserve better than this. I would have guys who would tell me like, yo, you chilling with this girl is going to eventually get you into some shit that you don't want to be in. I mean, I had guys tell me that who ain't know me from a hole in the wall, but I had to realize that I deserve better. And it's not always about you elevating as a person. It's about elevating your friendships, elevating who you surround yourself with, elevating the company you keep in general. It's so much more to elevating than just elevating your looks and your hair and your nails and your outfits and your job and your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Like, it's so much more to elevating your car. Like, the company you keep needs to be elevated as well. You can do all this elevation stuff and keep upgrading your life and being the best and doing the best and going for the best. But if your friends are still if your friends are not even trying to grow with you, if your friends are still where you was at such a long time ago, then you need to remove yourself. You need to move on. And I know it hurts because most of the time these friends are long-term friends. They came from like pre-K or middle school or high school. They came such a long way with you, but sometimes they are meant to stay back there. They are not meant to come with you on that other and that next level. They are meant to stay behind, because if you try to bring that friend any and everywhere with you, all you're going to do is keep dragging yourself down, or you'll never reach the full potential that you are meant to reach, because it's like you're bringing like this heavy rock with you. You just dragging this heavy ass rock that you need to just leave right there. I finally had to realize what it was. I finally had to wake up. I finally had to be like, Danae, you deserve better in every aspect. And now I'm very selective on who I call a friend. Now I'm very careful. I don't even have a lot of friends. I think I have like 2 friends at this point, and I'm totally at peace with that. The rest of my friends is family members. And I'm very open to new friendships. Do not get me wrong. Like, I would love to make new friendships, but I'm very careful now on who I will select as a friend. Again, I'm not going to say I need the most perfect friend who never make mistakes, who never do nothing stupid, because hello, I definitely do stuff like that. If you overall lack self-respect, I cannot fuck with you, period. I cannot. I will not. Be careful on who you call a friend. Be careful about who you get close to. Be careful on not ignoring your intuition either. Trust your gut. All 3 times that I had a feeling about something, I was right. So trust your gut too, y'all, because it will never steer you wrong. You are not being paranoid. 9 times out of 10, you are right. All right, well, I have to run. Love you all. Be safe, be well. And again, realize your worth. Again, even if you are lonely, do not put yourself in a position to deal with people who are just not in your kind of vibe or not in your kind of level right now. Just, be alone if you have to, but I'd rather be alone than to be stressed out and pressed. I'm at the most peace. I've never been this peaceful in my life. And it's because I cut off so many people, and I just feel I don't be having shit to worry about at this point. I know I'm a rider. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a loyal person, and I'll be damned if I get anything less than. I know how much I value myself. I know how much I respect myself. So I'm not going to have any kind of friendships that they don't see it for themselves. They don't do that for themselves. I'm not doing it. Work on yourself, and then we'll probably circle back. But if not, it is what it is. All right. Love you all. Bye now.